This week on the podcast, Carrie and I are telling you all about our experience at Destination D23 in Walt Disney World, where there were announcements, we had some laughs, friends, shopping, all sorts of stuff, and maybe some Muppets. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. Hi, I'm Francine.
And I'm Carrie.
We're two best friends who can't stop talking, usually about Disney stuff.
Sometimes we have fascinating guests, and sometimes it's just us, but it's always positive and fun.
We're happy to have you join our chat. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. We're back!
Indeed we are.
It's been a couple weeks, Carrie. I wonder if everybody missed us.
I was just going to say that. I wonder if anybody missed us.
They might not have even noticed that we were...
Possibly.
It's possible. It's possible. Thank you guys for tuning in. Before we even get started, so we're back from D23, but before we even get started, it's important to remind everybody that we have decided to go bi-weekly. So based on the feedback we got, nobody wanted us to kind of like take a break. Everybody was messaging saying bi-weekly would work. They would prefer bi-weekly over taking like a longer break. So we have decided that, yes, we think we can manage bi-weekly. So
I think so.
So that's the plan.
But what if we did wake up one day and we decide we got lots to say? Then we'll do it. We'll do more
extra. Then we'll do extra. But our official schedule should be bi-weekly because
it's more manageable for now.
At the moment, we're both like we were going to record yesterday, and Carrie and I were both like, oh, like we just don't got the gumption. Mm-hmm. We don't have the energy.
Don't know how much better we are today, but definitely better than yesterday.
I was going to say the same, but yet here we are.
Here we are.
And we're ready to talk D23.
Yeah, well, it's only been a few days since we got back, and it was a busy week. I hope I remember everything.
Well, I
think I need to start journaling.
Oh my gosh, yes, because you don't have enough to do. So let's journal. Let's add journaling to it. I used to try and take notes as we went along, and we had all these plans. We're going to record snippets and we did none of that. Not a thing.
No.
It did not happen. We failed all over the place.
Well, it's busy. It's busy when we're there.
It is. And we've got friends there, and we're hustling, and we're trying to get stuff done. And
we're getting up early, like really, really early. And then by the end of the day, we're done.
Who booked breakfast at 7:30? But it was required, like my sister, but it was required that we needed to be at breakfast by 7:30 if we wanted to be in the auditorium for 9. Although technically we didn't need to do it 7:30 the first day.
Right. That was just
a
warm up.
That was a warm up for us, trying to get us up and motivated first thing in the morning. But yeah, so we all we flew down on the same day, and our flights were like half an hour apart.
Yeah.
So yay. So we met in Orlando. Actually on the way down though, I was in the Nexus line, and I met one of our listeners who also is in the group, and we're in the Nexus line, and I'm scanning my Nexus card, and she's like, "Hey, Francine." And then it was so fun. And so then we chatted a little bit. So she was on my flight. And then, so we met her again at D23, but that comes later. That was later.
Yes.
That was later. But Deirdre, she did meet us, and then she said it was weird hearing us in person, like to hear our voices like while we were standing there, which is so weird, right? Because anyway, okay, so flight down, met at Orlando.
Yep, got in our Uber
and went to our hotels. So I was staying at Bay Lake Tower with my sister and our friend Susan.
Yeah.
And where, pray tell, was Miss Carrie staying?
I stayed at the Contemporary.
Woo-hoo.
Wait. In the main building.
Fancy dancy lady in the Contemporary main building.
Yeah, and our friend Carol, like, she does not snooze. There is no snooze and lose in Carol's vocabulary. So the minute that she booked us the Destination D. As soon as you get the confirmation, there's a link there for the conference hotel, and the Contemporary goes very, very quickly. Like if you don't click immediately and you wait a little bit, like just
The
a
rooms
little
are
bit,
gone.
it's gone. So she clicked, figuring what the heck, maybe, maybe not, and booked it for us. So that was awesome.
So this was your first time staying in the Contemporary.
It was. I was there for about a minute and 45 seconds, like an official hotel guest. And I was like, yep, this is it. This is how you do it.
We did tell people on the podcast after Carrie, discovered signature dining. And she was like, oh, it's signature dining or bust now. So now are we like monorail resort person or bust or what?
It might just be the Contemporary. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yep. It's nice.
Contempo Cafe had a different feel, didn't it?
I do understand how it can grow on you when it's so close by. But it was just like I could just walk around like the hallway and walk to and from my room all day long. Like it's just neat to be in that building. Is very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had we were the lake view, which the resort, like if your theme park view, a lot of the view is like
parking lot,
the parking lot, and then some fireworks and probably some nice sunsets. On the other side, on the lake view, there was beautiful sunrises. Like every morning you woke up to a beautiful sunrise. Like that's a good side too.
Yeah,
for sure. And you have the water pageant.
Yeah,
go by every night. So it was awesome.
Pretty spectacular. We did some like photos and I had Carrie standing on the balcony so I could take a picture.
Yeah, like total nerd.
Yeah, it was fun. Oh, I'm so glad. But that's where the D23 event was. So in the convention center at the Contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
So very convenient. So we were all very close. And we booked breakfast every morning at Steakhouse 71, even though none of us needed parking. We just figured we'd get together for breakfast.
Yeah. Well, it's probably like if we went to Contempo, it would be busier because there'd be the theme park family, like the family's getting ready for the day. And we really need to have a decent breakfast because we're sitting in a room,
all day.
Hours. So,
yep. And lunch was not very well organized, but that's later in the event. So first day was all about, we did breakfast, met up with our friends, and then we got our pins.
Yes, it's technically like registration day, I guess.
Right. So you get your credentials, you get which is just your little name, the thingy that you hang around your neck to say you're part of the event. And they scan that each time you're going in and out of the event. Well, in the event, not out, but in, to make sure that it's a valid ticket. So there's no funny business. People can't sneak in or whatever.
Right. So we picked up our pins, we picked up our credentials, we picked up our gift, and we picked up our pins, which was in 2 locations.
Yeah.
So we had like the pin pickup in 2 locations, the credential pickup because we were Canadian, they don't get mailed to us, and then we had to go get our gift. And then we had our shopping window.
Yes.
On the Friday.
So you got a reservation for when you could go shopping.
So it was pretty busy morning. Like Carol and I, we had our shopping window at 10 and we were in the first pin line to get our pins. And then we were late for the shopping window. And then when we were done the shopping window, we had to go in the other pin line. So it pretty much took us the whole morning to get those things done off of our list.
Yeah, it did. It took a long time because we had so much stuff going on. Our shopping window, I think, was at 1:00. So that was when we got to go in. And some good shopping. Lots of D23 merch. Lots of they did merch. Yeah. They had some
Muppet.
Had some hoodies. Some
Muppet merch.
So Carrie was pretty excited about the Muppet merch. And what did you buy?
What did I buy? I bought a Muppet shirt and a Muppet shirt. I bought 2 Muppet shirts. They're pretty much exactly the same shirt One was
Yes.
blue, one was green, one was short sleeve, one was long sleeve. I
Yeah.
bought that. I bought some buttons. I bought a Muppet mug because it was only $9.99. An Electric
Yeah.
Mayhem mug. They had all
Excellent.
kinds of Electric Mayhem shirts. I didn't necessarily love any of them too much, or else I would have bought them. And then they had Muppet Lab shirts with Bunsen and Honeydew. So that's the shirt that I bought in 2 different colors and sleeve.
Yeah.
What else did I get? Oh, I got a Muppet magnet.
That
I think that was it.
pretty decent haul.
Yeah, I
To
was excited
start.
to see. They had like Muppet. They had a little stuffed baby animal. They had like the drumsticks. They've had a few times. They had some of the stuff they had at the last show. They had Muppet Studio stuff, like a hat with a Kermit on it, and then the Kermit sweatshirt. Like they had a few things from last time, and then they definitely had like a they had a Muppets Lab notebook. They had all kinds of like the one quarter of the store was Muppets.
Yeah, it was pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about a bag? Like, or are you just talking about what you bought on day one? Or are we talking about the stuff that you bought all weekend or just the stuff on day one?
I thought we were just talking about day one. We went into 3 stores So this is what's different too. So this year, they usually just have Walt Disney Imagineering pins. Like, so we do an RSP for picking pins and it's just Walt Disney Imagineering. This year it was Walt Disney Imagineering and then the Walt Disney Company store, which was employee center pins. So there was 2 pin opportunities in 2 stores. And then there was 3 separate shopping stores. So there was the Walt Disney Imagineering, that's where these Muppets were. And then they had a D23 store, sort of, right? It was more the Walt Disney Company and D23 merchandise, like not related to the event, but just general fan club stuff. Merch. And then there was the what was the other one called? It had all of the
purses, the jewelry, the almost like partners.
All the partners and sponsors for the event. They were in a different room. So they had like Joffrey's, Lug was a huge sponsor, like the main sponsor, like the Citizen watches, they had sunglasses, right? They had Ray-Ban. They had
the jewelry. It was some kind of custom jewelry that they had there as well.
Yeah.
And they had like a train set thingy.
Yeah, and like a bunch of games, like so everybody had like a little space in there, which was kind of neat. The sock place, the place that does like those
the
really
weird
thick socks.
Yeah.
What else was there? There was a few more things. Anyways, so there was the 3 rooms, and we had a bracelet and with a little tag on it, and we had on Friday we could go into each one of them once to buy stuff. So like there was lots of stuff to be found across these stores, that's for sure. It was really good. And we have the first pickup because we're members of the event. We get to go in first. And then they had other, like if you were a gold member and didn't get a ticket to the event, then they had a way for people to actually go to the event just to
go and shop.
But we had that was the rest of the weekend. We had the first shot at shopping. First crack at shopping, and then on that day. So that was kind of neat.
And then we had the whole weekend. We could keep going back and forth, whatever, which we did. Yeah. So our first day we got we picked up our pins, we did our shopping, we did all that stuff. I just bought some hoodies. I don't think I bought anything like super duper exciting that first day, but I love their hoodies, so I did buy a couple of those. Our gift.
Yeah, the gift was kind of crazy.
Like I can't remember what we got the last couple times for gifts, but that tells you like that we did the gift.
Like usually we would get a bag. Like last year we usually get some sort of a shoulder bag and it would have a few things in it. Like in the past we've got notebooks. One year we got magic bands when the magic bands were new. We got a few things in a bag, but this time they gave us Lug.
This was out of control.
Yeah, so Lug, which we learned while we were there that morning, that it's a Canadian company. They sponsored the event and provided like Lug knapsacks for everybody. and the naps, like big heavy duty,
Like
like
I'm swapping out my work knapsack to use
like a
this.
very usable, awesome knapsack. And it was full of stuff, like jam packed full of stuff.
All the pockets had stuff.
Yeah, all the pockets had stuff, and it went from like, regular things you get, like postcards and little,
bookmarks,
little
and
swaggy
trinkets.
things and whatever, to having like a little card game in there. There was a Scentsy. There was a Scentsy thing in there. There was some
Disney
artwork
Cruise
in there.
Line magic band.
A Cruise Line magic band. All kinds of stuff. Like it was, some posters, some like all kinds of stuff. It was jam packed. Like we just couldn't believe all of the stuff.
We kept pulling stuff out, hats, everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was a hat in there.
There was a hat.
There was like a coin tray, like a tray that you'd put your coins or your keys on. There was that. There was pins in there. There was an Oswald pin. We got an Orange Bird pin from up in the room with the sponsors. But yeah, there was pins in there. Like it was jam packed, and we just kept finding more and more stuff. Like
yeah. It was pretty awesome. So
that was just kind of start of
blew us all away.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we were completely blown away by that.
Mm-hmm. And Lug didn't disappoint as the sponsor. They gave us amazing discounts to buy stuff. They gave us like a pumpkin trick-or-treat bag on the last night. Like just the Lug stuff alone that we were able to purchase. And then the freebies they gave us was kind of crazy.
Yeah, so in the bag we got a discount for $23 off a purchase in the store. So later that weekend, I believe every single one of us bought one of those crossbody bags that was normally like $45, which in the grand scheme of things, when you're talking to people who are normally buying Doonies, like $45 for a crossbody bag that'll carry my phone and my wallet and my all of that stuff. And then we got $23 off.
Yeah.
So I think every one of us bought that same bag.
I bought 3 purses. And every time we did a purchase, and they gave us a discount every time. And then there's a coupon code. There's an online code to buy more. But every purchase they gave us like a polka dot. You can't even say it's a grocery bag because it's way more than a grocery bag. It's like heavy duty.
No, that's a nice bag. That polka dot bag. Yeah.
They gave us, so I came home with like 3 purses and 3 polka dot bags, plus the knapsack, plus the pumpkin bag. Like I came home with 3, 6, 7, 8 Lug items.
I know.
And
and they're good quality. Like they're really like, and this stuff does not have a Disney character on it. They are launching their Disney branded stuff next year. So we just bought them because they were functional bags.
So smart.
Which is kind of crazy.
Like everywhere you went that weekend, it was just a sea of Lug bags. Like everybody was leaving the resort, or you saw them going into the park or on the monorail or whatever. Even at the airport, when I landed in Toronto, there was 3 of us with Lug knapsacks.
Yeah. So speaking of that, Carrie, with all of the stuff, we're going to have to cover that later about how does someone who shows up with a carry-on get this home when you have all these gifts and these purchases? Like it's
I did it.
Difficult. You didn't get all your stuff home.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll do that when we get to the end of the weekend.
I did pretty darn good, and really, I don't think surprise. What's it? Cookie butter should be a reason why I get in trouble for not being able to fit everything.
Your cookie butter and
Curtis, I'm looking at you there, Mister Cookie Butter distributor.
I know. They were so good. I think that's what put me over my weight limit. But in my suitcase. Yeah. We had a lot of good stuff. Okay. So that was day one. That was day one. And it was great. And we finished, I can't even remember where we went to dinner that night.
We went to the Grand Floridian Cafe.
We did. That's right. And we had a lovely dinner there.
Mm-hmm. Went on the monorail, had dinner, and then we just chilled out, I think, really. Like got ourselves organized and stuff.
Yeah. We wandered around. But there was
for a drink, didn't we? We went for a drink.
We did.
Is that the night we went for a drink?
Yeah, but you know what happened that day? Oh, our friend Susan ran into somebody special.
Oh,
So the last D23 event in Walt Disney World, I was going to the bathroom and Susan
going to the bathroom or out there looking to see if you could find Josh tomorrow.
Well, no, we had left to go to the restroom, and lo and behold, who was out there? But Mr. Josh tomorrow. So Susan, our friend Susan, she doesn't hold back. She's like, "Hey, Josh tomorrow, let me." So all of a sudden, I get my picture with Josh tomorrow. I'm like fangirling big time. So this year, before we go, I say to her, the only problem with that picture is I got my mask on. It was like right after COVID, whatever. Like you can't even see me. So day one, Susan is walking around the Contemporary and she runs into Josh tomorrow. And she says to him, "Hey, last time," she talks to him for a minute. And then she says, "Last time we were here, you took a picture with my friend." And she's so disappointed because she has her mask on. She wants a new one this year. And he says, "You tell her to find me." So Susan comes back.
So Susan comes back and tells that story. And we don't think she's telling the truth.
We don't believe her. We're like, yeah, that's
we just
funny.
Think she's just being silly because she's good at with silly stories and cracking jokes, right? For sure.
Carrie and I are like, yeah, whatever. That's kind of funny. Until we're at the Grand Floridian. We're walking down the hall at the Grand Floridian, and who's walking towards us but Josh tomorrow? And Susan stops him and says, "Remember I told you about my friend? Here she is."
Say cheese.
And she says, "The one that had the mask on in the last picture." And he's like, "Oh, you don't have the mask on. Looks good." Let's take another picture. So lo and behold, I got another picture with Josh tomorrow. This time, no mask.
This is almost like a collection, maybe. Maybe it's like every time there's an event and he's there, you need to get it. We'll have to think of a story for next time.
We're going to have to. We're going to have to.
You said it was the mask last time.
I couldn't believe she did it. And she's blah, 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 blah. She is so fantastic for that, isn't she?
Yeah, that was funny. We were laughing because we really were like, oh, she was serious.
She really did say that to him. Like, I couldn't believe she told him. Like, I was upset about the mask and everything. It was priceless. So I now have two pictures. And the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the same t-shirt in both. But
that's
yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you to Susan. I now have two pictures of me with Josh tomorrow.
With your boo.
Yeah, with my boo, the president of Disney Parks and Experiences. And what is that? What his title is now? I don't even know. He's just like, he's just so lovely. He's just so lovely. So that was day one. Chairperson of Walt Disney World Parks and Resorts.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty cool, eh?
Yep.
Okay, so day one done.
Day one in the books.
Day two, 7:30. Meet you at Steakhouse 71.
First, yep. Second breakfast.
Yeah, second breakfast. And breakfast every morning was delicious. Let's just say that. It was delicious.
Although, like, we had breakfast the last day at Kona.
Yeah.
That was my favorite breakfast.
Really? The food or the coffee or both?
Everything. Oh, yeah, definitely the coffee. Because, yeah, for sure the coffee. But the food was the best.
Yeah, we did Kona. Susan was craving Tonga toast. She was like, "Can we go to Kona on the last day? Let's do Tonga toast." So it was good. It was very good.
Anyways, breakfast done. So Saturday, we are at the event and they start with a celebration of Disney parks, experiences, products. Like it's a full kind of day of presentations, announcements. Like I'm trying to think of all the stuff. Like we don't need to go through everything with everyone because I don't think you and I are going to be able to describe the National Geographic Secrets of the Whales. Because I skipped it. I think I was shopping at that point. but this event though, that morning, like the amount of updates they did that morning was a lot compared to what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
Like this was more, it was more, they didn't really tell us anything that was extremely crazy or, out of this world exciting, but it was more of the D23 type of panels where they're showing us snippets and stuff like that.
Right. So some of the announcements that they made that maybe we should talk about is the Tree of Life Theater at Disney's Animal Kingdom is going to be updated. So sounds like It's Tough to Be a Bug is out and Miss Judy Hopps is in.
She's hopping right in.
She's hopping right in. I'm quite excited about that. Because, It's Tough to Be a Bug is cute, but it kind of freaks me out a little bit. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun to see a little Zootopia come to the Tree of Life.
Mm-hmm.
That was exciting.
What else did they tell us? They told us about the Country Bear Jamboree. They're going to
was that not a big relief? Whew. With all the rumors of them getting rid of the country bears, it was exciting to hear the bears are staying.
Yeah, that's true.
The bears are staying, but the music is changing, which I get. There's the parts of me that's like, oh, but some of those songs are so funny. If we just didn't take them so seriously. But I totally understand that you can't have, Mama Don't Whip Little Buford anymore in a Disney theme park. The singing songs about whooping Buford is not okay.
I just wish they would have announced that they were just going to make some new songs. So they're just taking country song, or they're taking songs and making them Country Bear versions of them.
Yeah, so there's classic Disney songs in different genres of country music is basically what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they do some new ones as well, because part of the Country Bears is the funny factor, and kind of like the Jungle Cruise, right? Like they've got to have some good jokes with this.
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping for. Like the in between stuff will be funny and creative. But yeah, glad that they're not going away. Like, I don't know what they would really do with that space otherwise, right? Like, it can't be that big of a space. They're going to turn it into a bar or somewhere to sell more merch or something. Like, I don't think that, they could probably do much.
So I'm excited for that at least the bears themselves are going to stay. Mm-hmm. Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge. So a new lounge coming in over by the Pirates. But they didn't give us a ton.
They don't give us much.
Their test track is being reimagined. Kind of fun. And they're talking about building more in Magic Kingdom, but they didn't say what. Like they just said, we're spending lots of money in Magic Kingdom. We're going to expand. We're going to do some stuff, but like what? None of us know.
And they talked about an Indiana Jones ride at Animal Kingdom. That's kind of neat. I kind of like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. We're wondering, is it going to replace Dinosaur or because
for sure
you said the Dinosaur and Indiana Jones are basically the same track.
Same, maybe like whether they're exact or not, they're the same. They come from the same
idea.
Same original plan, I think.
Yeah, so that kind of is going to be fun. And then new experiences inspired by Encanto.
Yeah.
So excited to see a little bit more in Animal Kingdom. But really, we don't know much. So it was kind of like a bunch of announcements, but not really details. Like when, how big, how much.
Yeah. And these things, like even with the big expo, like it really depends on the timing of when things are rolling out. Like there's been times where like they're telling us so much and showing sneak peeks and really giving lots of information, and if they don't have much, then they just at least they confirmed some things. It's not like the maybes. Like they told us that they were doing something at Magic Kingdom at the expo, and still now they maybe changed their tune at like I think they said it was supposed to be villains maybe or something, or they did, or maybe they said a couple of things, and then now like I think they were still pretty vague or weren't even as detailed as they were at D23, which means that it's probably a little bit different. Probably a little bit different than the original plans, but yet even if they figured out, like it's still probably years and years and years and years away before something opens in space. Or whatever they're doing. So it's interesting.
The highlight to me for Saturday was after the actual event at D23 Or no,
Mm-hmm.
when did they do the the voice acting? Was that Saturday or Sunday?
Um,
I feel like it was Saturday. I feel like it might have been Saturday. And I can't, okay, so I can't remember for sure. But what it was they had the voice of Goofy, so Bill Farmer. They had Brett Iwan, the voice of Mickey Mouse. They had the woman who does Minnie Mouse.
yeah,
They
she was
had,
pretty cool.
yeah, she was pretty cool. They had the guy, the wee boy that did the voice in Coco.
Mm-hmm. Miguel.
He was awesome. He actually sang at one point throughout the thing. So we're not going over everything, but they had like this whole panel where they had the voice actors where they did like a cold read. So they had never seen the script before and they were doing it in different voices.
Right. And they were kind of touring around the theme parks.
Right. And we all said that it was one of the highlights of the event. And now I'm not going to be able to describe it and do it justice. So I'm just going to tell you that part was a lot of fun, just to hear like them doing voices and trying to act different characters and then falling back into their own characters. It was a ton of fun. Like they had Miguel from Coco do the monorail spiel. Like it was priceless. Like the way that they were doing that was really, really, really fantastic.
It was really good. Yeah. And everybody was laughing and cheering. It was very entertaining.
For sure. And then we actually had an event outside that evening in Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
So we could go to Epcot, and if you didn't have a park ticket, it was included. And we got to see what's it
Moana,
called?
the Moana.
That's it.
Something of water, the splash pad, the Moana splash pad.
The Moana splash pad, I love it. So we got is it Journey of Water?
Of Water. Yeah.
Journey of Water. That's it. So we got to go and experience that.
It was awesome.
It was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It was like interacting with the water was it was bigger than I imagined and more beautiful than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was neat. It was nice to walk through in a very, just beautiful.
Yeah.
Picturesque.
Yep. We
soggy.
So which was fine because it was like 1,000 degrees. So we did that. We had dinner. We had some issues getting our dinner, but we won't go into that because it's a positive podcast. Mm-hmm. But we had our dinner. You ran over to see the Muppets and the Muppet Lab.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was all right. I ran over to see that. I'm glad that I didn't plan to go because I was going to go on the Monday to go get see it. And I'm glad I just ran over to see because it's really not too much. But we had, they gave in addition to the Moana thing, they had a dance party. Yeah. And then for the people that wanted to stay late, the dance party had where you could meet Figment. So that was one of the perks surprises that Figment was going to be in the parks the next day, but people could see them that night. So the dance party had Figment, and it had they had ice cream sandwiches, and they had some treats and stuff for people to mingle.
Ice cream sandwiches.
They did though. They did. They had Mickey bars and ice cream sandwiches. They had pretzels and cheese. They had colored popcorn, and they had something else. I think chicken skewers or something. I think that was what was on the party. And then for the people that wanted to stick around from 10:30, I think, till midnight, they had a few rides open. So the people that stuck around, they'd have Guardians. Was it Guardians Test Track?
Guardians Test Track and Soarin', wasn't it?
And maybe Spaceship Earth too?
Might have been.
All to themselves.
Yeah.
So that was kind of and that's something that was an add-on that I was not unexpected. They told us that we were going to have something special that night. But the fact that they did the Moana thing, they could have just left it at that. But they did the Moana, they did the dance party, and then they did the late night park is pretty decent, really.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we didn't stay for that because we were just beat. Like, we were all so tired. It's long days. It's long days. And we had a 7:30 breakfast the next morning.
Indeed, we did.
So on the Sunday, that was our final day of the D23. More presentations, more panels. That was the day that they showed us the short, was it not?
Yeah, they showed this day the Walt Disney Studios panel was showing us some snippets of things. Like, so it was again kind of like the expo where we're not allowed to videotape or camera or anything, right? So
yeah,
they showed a lot of snippets, and then they did the 100 years of animation where they showed us a video they made and it was like people were like cheering and laughing and crying and for a few minute video.
It was every feel I've ever felt about my love for Disney all encapsulated in one short.
So they made this short that is on the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank. So it's a live action film, but then they've got cartoon characters in it. So the cartoon characters are on the studio lot and all the cartoon characters are there. And it's just, they're funny and they do some emotional things, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah, it was definitely, that was probably one of, like, I would say probably the highlight to me for the weekend. Of all the things they showed us was that short. And I don't know when it's going to be available on Disney Plus or in a movie or whatever. But I can't wait to watch it 50 more times. It's that kind of emotional. It's the emotional Disney we love. Every part of it. Like it was so good that when it got to the end, we all kind of looked at each other and everybody leapt to their feet to give them a standing ovation, which hadn't happened the whole weekend. Like that was like, I'm not even sure Jodie Benson got a standing ovation. Like literally everybody jumped up to give these guys a standing ovation. It was really incredible. So keep an eye out for that when it comes out on Disney Plus. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
I think they'll probably do it, like, because I think that 100th anniversary date is soon, right? It's in October.
October 16th.
So, yeah, I wonder.
It's a pretty special day for some people. That's how I remember the date. I never remember anything, but that was a big one. And yeah, it was a great event. And that night they had their Halloween costume party at the wrap of the event.
Yeah, that's how they pretty much end every event of these events. They have like a dance party.
Yeah. So we went. We didn't really dance much.
No, we just checked it out.
We got some candy. We took some photos. That was pretty much it. Our friends Susan and Becky went to the Halloween party, like the Mickey's Not So Scary. Yeah, it was good. It was very good. So that was us on Sunday. Event over.
I think generally, like most of the sessions were fairly interesting. There was a couple, like we did skip out of a couple of them because we needed a bit of a break, but I think most of them were, like, we skipped out of the Avengers one. Yeah. Because we don't know what they're talking about. But I think generally the sessions were good. But, like, probably is just as good as any, like, or better than any other year we've been to the.
Absolutely.
I think there was a good variety, like, because in the past they've been more themed, right? Like, we went to one that, like, the last time, or one of the times was Mickey Mouse's birthday, right? So a lot of it was around that, and then the one with adventure is out. The adventure one was all about like Animal Kingdom and Pandora and whatever. Like I feel like some of them have been very focused on one thing, and I think this one was good because it seemed to have a little bit of everything.
It did,
and also even having like the little
variety.
Bit of, like even having the ones that we kind of scooted out for, like. Even a lot, like, if we're not interested, we could take a 45-minute break and skip one, right? And so it was a bunch of everything for different people to.
It was
different likes or whatever. So.
It was funny because I did say I had to skip out on one, and I was like, I gotta go back to the room. I gotta work for like an hour, and I went out, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll just scoot through the stores while nobody's here. And then I was in the store looking at the lug bags, and I turn around, there's our friend Carol, and I'm like, shh, don't tell anybody I came shopping. She's like, I won't if you won't. But then when I got back in the room, my sister turns to me, she's like, did you go shopping? I'm like, did Carol rat me out? And Carol's like, no, I didn't rat you out. Now you just ratted me out.
I know, because I skipped that one too, and I knew you were going to do some work, and I was messaging you and saying, let me know when you're done or whatever. And then I look up and you're in the store because
I found you in the Muppet section.
Yeah.
Great minds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was the end of the event. But on Monday, we had some time before you caught your flight.
Yep.
So we had to do it. Carrie, do you want to tell them about it?
Yeah. What did we do? We went on Tron.
What did we do?
I'm trying to think. Did we do anything else? We woke up. We went for breakfast yet again.
Oh yeah, we did. That was Kona Cafe. Yeah.
And then we went on Tron.
We went to Magic Kingdom just for the sole purpose, Tron.
Yeah.
Because again, it was like
individual
1,000
lightning
degrees.
lane, our individual lightning lane, and gave them our $20.
Yep. Our $20 paid, skip the line, let's go.
And it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was very good. It was very good. I have since learned that I need to stop screaming when I'm on rides like this because I have 47 chins in the picture. Because my mouth couldn't be any wider open because I'm screaming. I don't know how you're like just Miss Prim and Proper. No, like she looks like, butter wouldn't melt. She's the
whatever.
All like calm, cool, and collected. Yeah.
I don't even know when they took the picture at the start.
At the very beginning, like right when you do that takeoff.
Yeah.
So you didn't feel no sickies, no nothing.
No, I didn't feel sick, but you know what I think when we were laying down at it, and then before it's right before it started, or when it first pushed off, I felt like for a second I lost my breath, or I was gonna lose my breath, and I just I just closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and I was fine. But I seriously,
it caught you,
and I wasn't nervous.
Off guard.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't even know if it was that. I wasn't nervous at all because I'm like, whatever. I'd be more nervous on something that's a drop zone or whatever. It's just a roller coaster. I can see what's happening. I wasn't nervous at all. But for some reason, like I said, I closed my eyes and kind of centered myself, taking a couple deep breaths. I was fine. But I was like, that's kind of a weird experience. But no, it was fun. It was fast. I didn't realize that so much of it was inside. Spoiler alert, if people haven't been on it. It's kind of like a new version of Space Mountain, but Tron style, which I was kind of surprised. But I shouldn't be, because when you look at the ride, you only see the little bit outside. But it was fun.
It was very good.
I'd like to go. I think it's, and usually, your second time riding is different too, right? Like the first time you're sometimes nervous or you're looking in the wrong places or whatever. So usually the second time you ride something is a different type of enjoyment. So
yeah. I saw more of it this time than I did the first time, and my leg did not get stuck when I was getting off it, which was good. So yeah, it was good. It was very good. So all in all, we had a great time. We got to see our friends.
Yeah, that was the best part.
We got to hang out with our friends. We got to meet Deirdre. I got to see Rebecca. She saw you, but you were head in your phone, so she didn't want to call out to you, so she missed you. But I got to see her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a really good time.
It was a great time, and nice, and just a little short weekend, just the right amount.
And then you flew home on the Monday night.
And you stayed a couple more days.
I stayed a couple more days with my sister, and Susan left the next day. Or no, that night. She left the same time.
No, that night. We both left. We both left in a storm. Yeah, lightning storm.
There was this I almost forgot about the storm. It was 1,000 degrees. So Becky and I were like, we're going back to the room. We're just going to sit on our balcony. Let's enjoy it. And Carrie, it was like that storm was phenomenal.
You don't have to tell me, I saw it from a plane window.
Yeah. And I'm like, is she going to be able to take off? So you managed to get out and fly around it. Susan was stuck on the tarmac. They didn't leave till after the storm.
Well, we taxied to, like, for 20 minutes. We were taxiing. We went to it felt like we were in Toronto. You know how sometimes when you're taxiing in Toronto and you think like you're in Scarborough by the time the plane gets to the runway? Yeah. It was that sort of thing. Like we kept taxiing and they could tell
like you're driving forever.
Well, I've flown in and out of there enough to know that you don't taxi that far. So they taxied us. And when you look on the plane route to see where we flew, like we totally flew out in the total opposite direction that we would regularly fly out. So they taxied us to a totally different area runway, and we were going up, and it seemed to be sort of fine. And it was almost like, I'm pretty sure the seatbelt sign was just off, and our plane like dipped like a few times, like dipped enough that people screamed twice.
Oh, Carrie.
And like the overheads opened, like a man like undid a seatbelt, quickly jumped up, closed them down, and sat back down. Like people were, and something happened to the lady behind me, because after, it's like when the seatbelt sign finally went off again, like they were there to talk to her and see if she was okay or whatever. Like maybe she was just really nervous, and maybe she got sick or something. I don't know.
Oh no.
But anyway, so I was at the window and I had a couple beside me, and when like the man beside me was like looking over me to look out the window, so that I looked out the window, and there was like a cloud that was like a smokestack, a chimney cloud, like a big, as gray as a cloud can be, chimney cloud right there. And he said, well, we must have, like, they were trying to go around it, but we must have just been close enough to have some whatever. Like, I have never been in a plane and saw a cloud like that. Like, it was just a tunnel. Like
were you scared when it dropped like that and the thingies opened? Like,
I've been in planes where they drop like that, but I think if it was just a normal, like, I think people were upset because we were sitting there for 20 minutes or 30 minutes watching like ridiculous lightning out the window. And and so that, I'm sure, made it worse. But,
like the sky was never really dark. Like the lightning was just continual. Like big sheet lightning and fork lightning.
Yeah. I just took deep breaths and sat there, closed my eyes and took deep breaths just to, because it's nothing you can really do. So just to try to stay calm. And it wasn't for very long. Like we got to, a normal, not so bumpy ride. And but then as we flew, it was bumpy quite a bit, the whole, nothing as bad as that, but it was bumpy. Right. Like the seatbelt sign did go on and off a few times, but yeah, it was more that cloud. Like I've never seen anything like that. Like, right. That was crazy.
Like, and did you take a picture of it?
No. At that point, like we were just trying to, like, everyone was just trying to breathe. Yeah. I wish I would have. I think he did. The man beside me, I think he did. I wish I would have thought to do it, but I didn't. So, but yeah, that was my flight home. See, and now when that's happening, you're like, yeah, don't want to get on a flight again that soon. Well, no, maybe you have to. You just gotta go. Yeah, but
will you get on a plane again, Carrie?
I don't know, maybe not. I might retire my annual passes in my luggage.
I did see something once, and it was like a pilot that was giving like updates on really what is turbulence, why do you feel like you're falling out of the sky, all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember most of it, but he did say, like, you don't fall out of the sky. It feels like it in the plane because you're dropping so rapidly, but it's basically just like air pockets that you're flying through, and when you hit the wrong pocket, it dips you into the pocket below. But it's not like you're falling to the ground. It's just you're moving out of those air pockets.
I checked, like, I looked at the flight path, like, to see like how it was, for whether like how we dipped and whatever. And it wasn't really that. Like there was a lot of like little thingies, but there wasn't anything too crazy.
But it feels like it when you're on the plane.
Felt like it, and it really, the lightning didn't help.
No.
Like I've had it happen the odd time that's happened. Like I haven't had that happen a lot where you actually feel it kind of fall a little bit. Like only a few times ever I've had that happen. But yeah, definitely the what we had witnessed at the window was not helpful.
No.
Like it's like even when I flew home, whenever that was, like I don't know if it was earlier this year or whenever we flew from. It must have been earlier this year when I flew from LAX and I couldn't land in Toronto.
Yes.
Like even like being up on the plane where the pilot's telling you like, I'm going to give it 20 more minutes to see if they clear off the path. If not, we're going to run out of gas. So we're going to have to fly we're going to have to land somewhere else. Like I'm just after a week away or a week or more away at Disneyland in a different time zone. Like I was just sitting there like, yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out. I'm like, what podcast can I listen to? And I just
what else I got?
For like a split second, your mind starts to think like, oh my goodness, what the heck? And then you're like, it's whatever. Like these people know what they're doing. They're gonna, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like how long does it take to fly to another airport? Like from here, 10 minutes. Like I'm sure we've got enough gas to get us there.
It's so crazy. And the worst part, like while you're nervous, it's almost like you're nervous on the plane, but the seatbelt sign is on. Like, I don't know about you, but that's when I need to go. So it kind of contradicts, but what can you do? Yeah.
Not much.
It's crazy.
Listen to
well, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it home okay, pal.
I did.
You did. Yeah. My flight home was very uneventful, knock wood. Yeah, it was very uneventful, but that was our D23 experience.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you glad you waited like 3 weeks for that? For us to come back? Oh, and by the way, somebody else was just catching up on podcasts and said to tell you, Ashley, said to tell you that the Jokes podcast, she finally got caught up and loved it. Just saying.
Oh my goodness.
Just saying. Just so you know. But yes, so that was our D23 and our full recap of the event.
Oh, by the time this goes out, it's still not that far away from the D23. It's still fresh in everybody's mind.
Absolutely. And then hopefully in the future episodes, talking about the pins that we got at D23, we are going to have our friend Jay on to talk about being a new pin trader. Like tips for brand new, starting out, just thinking about getting into pin trading, what you need to know. So that's like our PSA. Okay.
We'll see if anybody thanks us.
I know. We've droned on long enough. Everybody's just, you know what? They're all just sitting there saying, hurry up. We just want to hear what your pixie dust is.
We've stuck around just to hear the pixie dust.
Exactly. What, Carrie, brought you pixie dust this week?
Well, my pixie dust was from the D23 Expo, which was just a few days ago. Or D23 Destination D.
Yes.
Well, first off, they announced the D23 Expo.
Right.
For next year, which was super duper exciting.
Yes.
And I booked our hotel, and it's a good thing because now it's like this is okay. This is not my pixie dust, but like it's gonna get to the point where like if we actually get to this expo, it'll probably be a miracle,
right?
Because they announced some really great things, how they're expanding it or whatever. We'll see when the registration comes out how much all these extra things cost. So we might be like, no thanks, and like the minute it was announced, they had the conference rates and people were booking them right away. And it's like the Westin behind it is like $800 a night already. Like even the Marriott was over $400 a night. Like it seems like everything is ridiculous. So it might get to the point where we get priced out. We get priced out of this event. And I'm kind of afraid that when they talked about having a day at Disneyland and doing all these things, like like those are gonna all be add-ons, I'm sure. So
I know.
yeah, we'll see. So I was excited that they announced it, but then I'm a little
cautiously
nervous.
Now you're a little cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
Carrie, if we can't do it, then we bring up plan number 2 for our next adventure.
what's that?
Going to find our boys. Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, where are they now? If anybody knows if there's going to be a Comic-Con somewhere where these two are going to be, Carrie and I are thinking we need to fly to them since we missed them in Toronto.
Yes. Okay, back to my pixie dust.
Pixie dust.
My pixie dust was at the event on Saturday in the morning, when they did the parks panel and the stuff in the morning. They had like the Muppets everywhere.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Like, everywhere.
They had the Muppets, like with all of the announcements, they had the Muppets somehow intertwined, whether they were at the side of the stage or they popped up or they were behind the stage or they came on stage.
Yeah. Kermit came out to talk to Josh.
Mm-hmm.
They had who did they have? They had Sam come out.
Sam the Eagle,
Gonzo. Yep.
It was awesome.
Piggy. Yep.
Yeah. So, and really when I met you in the shop, I was kind of in the shop hoping I might run into somebody, and I didn't, because I thought, maybe they'd go check out the Muppet merch because last year I saw them. I saw the performers, some of them in there like peeking around and checking things. So that's where I was playing hooky. I was like,
maybe I can run into them here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that was awesome.
Pretty good.
It was I was clapping and squealing and happy and it was awesome. So,
yeah.
That was the best. Like that 100 years of animation was awesome for sure. But my favorite part was that there was Muppets there. Real Muppeteers, puppeteers, and the real Muppets were there.
Pretty cool.
It was awesome. And they didn't talk nothing about the Muppets to come or whatever. No, but they just had the Muppets.
They were just there. Yeah. Because they're important.
Yep.
Agreed.
What's your pixie dust?
My pixie dust is that just before, because I don't know why I did it right before I went away, I repotted my plants because you told me you got
your picture taken with Josh tomorrow. This like 4 days ago or whatever.
I know, but this is big, Carrie. This is big. Like, woman in my 50s, never kept much alive in the house besides myself. And you told me that the plants were dying because they weren't in big enough pots.
They needed more room.
Before we left, I ordered some pots on Amazon, and they showed up.
Potting soil?
And I had the potting soil that I bought the last time when you told me I didn't have enough soil in them. So I repotted them. I moved them into the new pots. And then I thought, well, that was stupid. I'm going on vacation. Like, my poor plants are going to be here by themselves for a week. They're going to die. So I left them near the window. I left the blinds open a little so they could get some vitamin D. And my pixie dust is that when I came home, my plants are still alive.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, they're not dying. They seem to look okay. So far, so good. Whew.
So far, so good.
So yeah, like, I'm a person with 3 plants in my house. Like, I posted the picture the other day of my plants, and a friend of mine who I went to school with replied to it and just said, "Who are you?" Like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm a person who has plants now. So yeah, my plants are alive. That was my
green thumb in the making.
You never know. But
you don't have any pets, you should get some more plants. You don't have to worry about anybody eating them and barfing or eating them and getting poisoned.
But now
you need some more.
Now that I've mastered these 3, I'm thinking this could be like, I could start growing things in my house intentionally.
Not like the weeds out front.
Instead of the weeds out front or the spider farm that's down at the front door that I can't seem to get rid of. Yeah. But that's it. That's my pixie dust.
That's cool.
All right. Carrie, we babbled on enough. Everybody, thank you for listening again. And remember 2 weeks, we'll be back and a whole new episode. So thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Pixie Dust Fan Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
Make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast player so you'll get a new episode every week. And find us on social media too. We'd love to hear from you.
Till next time, remember, you are never too old to be young. Chase your dreams and design your own happily ever after.